This segment brought to you by Hanvog Boots, outdoor footwear since 1921.
We get that buck all packed out to the trailhead. Everybody's excited about his buck, and we get it loaded up, and we head down the trail. Neil's other son-in-law, Dan Davenport, he had to wait. The second day of the season, he showed up. So he just decided he's going to go for a little hike anyway. Not too far down there. He hikes out there a mile or so from the road and goes down one of those canyons, and, you know, luck have it, he run into a big old buck, and that thing come by him. Dan was able to get him knocked down.
I got into deer literally right here this morning, and I don't have much time, so I was like, I'm meat hunting. And so I got into a buck right here, but it was what Dylan calls a spork. So I went down, and then I ran into that bull pushing his cows, and he, not far after that, just saw that one horn coming through, and I was like, I'm gonna shoot that buck, because I only have a couple days, so I didn't think more than that. I just saw it was a buck, and he had one little opening, and thumped him, and he rolled in a dust pile, and then another 4-point ran right up to me, and I was like, whoa, this is good. So
great big old 4-point, beautiful buck. It's a real trophy, and like I say, Dan had just got there, hiked out there, and sometimes it's meant to be, and it was meant to be that day for Dano, and we're really happy for him. He's a great guy, and he deserves it. So we were high-fiving. They had 2 great bucks there. The whole family's there. Just a great time. This next hunt was the following year, same place. This year, Candy and I have tags.
Getting ready for tomorrow's hunt. Gonna load up the gun, so I'm ready for whatever. I got my Barnes 270 triple shock. Well, the first few days on this hunt, we hiked our rears off. I mean, we hunted so hard. I wanted a buck so bad.
What are you after? How big? Yeah.
And we went through greasewood that bear couldn't get through, and over deadfalls, and we worked really hard. We saw a few does here and there and some sign, but really we weren't seeing anything. It was getting pretty discouraging.
The day after that, we get out across there and we look across this canyon. There is a big old buck, and I mean, this is a 3-point, 3x3 with eye guards, but he is just an old-time buck and beautiful buck. Candy wants him so bad, but there's just really no way to get off of that mountain from where we're at. It's just sheer rock bluffs.
Okay, we hiked in this morning a couple miles and hadn't got very far. We ran into 4 mountain goats, so that was kind of fun. Then went over a couple more ridges and spotted this nice buck. We've been just kind of trying to keep our eyes on him the whole time, figuring out how to get to him, and we haven't got that figured out yet. So we sit there for several hours watching where we last seen this buck. We can see the area around it. There's few places he could get out without us noticing. And I really, really want this buck. He's unique, he's different, he's beautiful. I just had my heart set on him.
And he's big.
He was big. So we sit and we wait and we eat lunch, and he doesn't come out of there, and we figure it's getting late enough in the day that we're going to either have to make something happen or come back tomorrow and start all over again. And I'm not real patient. So we make this plan that I'll sit where I've got an awfully good view of where we think he's at, and Randy's going to bust him out. I'm within 400 yards no matter which direction he runs, and we'll do a bleat, and hopefully I'll get a shot. That was our plan. It sounded wonderful. Nothing happens. He wanders around a little more and waves at me. It's getting cold. I'm getting the shakes. We've been sitting there for hours and hours. He motions that he's coming back up. And all of a sudden I hear this whoop, and that buck was bedded right where I thought he was bedded. And when Randy turned around and headed back, he got within 15 feet of this guy.
And the buck he lets me get, I mean, I've seen it before, and I should have had my guard up a little more, but I was within 15 feet of that big old buck, and he'd let me walk by him, and I decided he wasn't there, and I turned around and walked back, and he jumps up 15 feet away, and he starts, of course, the opposite way of me, which is Candy would have to shoot over me to get a shot. 4 or 5 big bounces up over top of this little knob, and that was it. He was gone.
Pretty much all I seen was his horns and his white tail waving me goodbye. Today's tech tip is going to be about knives, one of the most essential things that you can have in your pack, not just for skinning and harvesting and quartering an animal, but also for safety and everyday use while you're out in the woods. We prefer the Benchmade knife. We've found that to be one of the strongest, toughest, most durable, sharpest knives that you can have out there.
These knives are so incredibly sharp right out of the box. It's just absolutely incredible. It's S30V steel that they use. You know, I know we all carry our pocket knife, and they're great. This is also a Benchmade pocket knife. Love it. But the problem is I abuse it, and I use it, and I pry with it, and I do all kinds of stuff that you probably shouldn't do with it. But that's my everyday tool. In your pack, you want something that is strictly for that, strictly for your hunt. Another nice thing, you can send these things back every year after hunting season, and they'll bring them back to a factory edge for you. It's like brand new, which is pretty cool.
Check out our website, the only place you can get special deals on the gear we use and believe in. Proudly brought to you by Crit Tech Apparel, from the battlefield to the backcountry. LEUPOLD, America's Sport Optics Authority. Matthews, makers of the new Halon bow. Mountain Ops, there's no off-season. And Onyx Maps, visualize your success. We are do-it-yourself, backcountry big game hunting. It's our extreme desire.